Hi, this is Ankita, faculty from Department of Civil Engineering, Christ College of Engineering, Irinalakuda. In our first lecture, we have gone through the various topics: compressibility, consolidation, its importance, different stages, and spring analogy model, the test procedure for consolidation, and the methods to determine void ratio at various load increments, and we have also seen E log P curve. Now in this lecture, second lecture, we'll go through the topics normally consolidated, over consolidated and under consolidated soil, and the various definitions associated with consolidation, pre-consolidation pressure concept, and the causes of pre-consolidation in soil, and also to find consolidation settlement. Let's have a look at the E log P curve, which we have already discussed in our previous lecture, and this shows the consolidation experienced by a particular soil which has the parts like loading part, unloading part, and again reloading part. So this will give the behavior of a soil under consolidation, and with this we can distinguish between different conditions like normal consolidation, over consolidation, and under consolidation. And the soil which has undergone consolidation can be categorized into these three. So we'll see what is normally consolidated soil. It is the soil which has never been subjected to a pressure greater than the present existing pressure. That means the pressure that it is experiencing now is the highest one. It has never experienced a pressure greater than that, and the soil has been fully consolidated under that pressure which it is experiencing now. So in this curve, the portion AB, that is called virgin compression, because this is the compression, or this is the force consolidation force, or the consolidation that which the soil experience for the first time, and that is called virgin compression. So that portion AB is representing a normally consolidated condition. The soil in the portion AB is a normally consolidated soil. It is getting consolidated by a pressure, and that pressure it has never experienced before. And again in the reloading portion, also we'll get a similar normally consolidated region, that is DE. So that is also where the soil is experiencing a new pressure that it has never experienced before. So that is normally consolidated soil. Then what is over consolidated soil? That is a condition in which the soil is getting fully consolidated, where it is subjected to pressure in the past, and that is greater than the present existing pressure. So if you are giving a pressure in order to consolidate its soil, but in the past itself it has experienced a pressure greater than what you are giving now, so it is already fully consolidated. Okay, so that is the over consolidated soil. That is the condition corresponding to over consolidation. And the soil in the range CD represents over consolidated condition. So just examine the portion CD. It is this. So a soil in this region, it is over consolidated. How? Because it has started the consolidation process like this in the first loading part, and then it was reloaded, and then again it was unloaded, and again it is reloaded. So if it is in the reloading portion, that is the maximum pressure it is experiencing is this one, corresponding to this. So it has already experienced a pressure greater than that in the loading part. So now when it is reloaded, that pressure is not the new one to that particular soil. So it is recompression. It is feeling like a recompression. So the soil in that range represents an over consolidated condition, and over consolidation ratio can be defined as the maximum pressure subjected to in the past divided by the present pressure. So if it had experienced a pressure say 10 in the past, and now if you are giving 5, what is the OCR? It is 2. That's all. The next is under consolidated soil. So it is a soil deposit that is not fully consolidated. So the previous two cases are now about the soil which is getting consolidated fully by either by the existing pressure or by a previous pressure that it has taken in the past. So now what is under consolidated soil? It is not fully consolidated under the pressure that we are giving it now. So that is called under consolidated soil. So these soils have a tendency to again undergo consolidation. It is not consolidated under the pressure that we are giving it now. So these soils are susceptible to larger deformation, and it may cause distress in the buildings which we are making over that deposits or soil deposit. And a very good example is the area where we have recently filled with soil. Areas of recent landfill that we have done recently is a very good example for under consolidated soil. That deposit is not fully consolidated under the present overburden pressure. So all these are not like different types of soil, but these are different types of conditions in which a soil exists. So the same soil can behave as normally consolidated in a certain pressure range, and the same soil can be an over consolidated in some other pressure range. So that is the difference. It is not a different difference in the type of soil. It is a based on the conditions of the pressure which the soil is experiencing. There are some important definitions associated with consolidation, and let's begin with coefficient of compressibility denoted by AV. It is defined as a decrease in void ratio per unit increase in effective stress. That is, it is represented as equal to the slope of void ratio effective stress curve at the point under consideration. So in the y-axis it is void ratio, and in the x-axis it is effective stress. And if you are considering a portion, a small portion, you can see the graph will be varying, and if you are taking a particular portion, that ratio the slope can be defined as coefficient of compressibility. And what happens to the void ratio? The void ratio is coming down. It is getting decreased over time. The void ratio is getting decreasing, and effective stress is increasing as the time passes by during the process of consolidation. So the coefficient of compressibility is decreasing. The numerator is decreasing and the denominator is increasing, and the coefficient of compressibility value is decreasing, and we can report it as positive by putting a negative sign. And this as I mentioned, the graph is varying at different positions at various portions, and hence the slope also is different, and towards the end the curve is getting flatter. It is getting flatter. So if you observe for a constant interval of sigma dash, if the denominator is kept the same, say an interval of 10, then if you observe the initial portion, the DE value, change in void ratio, is high, and if you are taking a slope here, the change in void ratio is less. So the ratio is getting smaller, or the soil is becoming less compressible. Coefficient of compressibility is less, so the soil is getting less compressible, or soil is becoming stiffer as the effective stress is increased, and the curve is getting flatter. And the unit is usually we represent it in meter square per kilometer. Next is about coefficient of volume change, MV. It is defined as the volumetric strain per unit increase in effective stress. So if you represent it mathematically, you can write it like delta V divided by V0 divided by delta sigma bar. Volumetric strain, change in volume divided by original volume, and the volume is decreasing as the time moves, and that can be represented as negative, and the ratio volumetric strain to increase in effective stress or change in effective stress, so it can be represented like MV is equal to minus delta V by V0 divided by delta sigma dash. And it can also be expressed in terms of void ratio or thickness of the specimen. The volume is decreasing, void ratio is decreasing, and also the thickness of the specimen is decreasing, isn't it? So we can write MV in terms of all these three. So that is written over here, the various expressions to find that can be used to find MV, or coefficient of volume change. And this is also known as volume compressibility, and it decreases with an increase in effective stress. And the unit is meter square per kilonewton, and we can relate coefficient of compressibility AV and coefficient of volume change MV as this, using this expression. MV is equal to AV divided by 1 plus E0. And the various notations are explained here. Compression index Cc. It is the slope of the linear portion of E log sigma bar plot. So remember the E log P curve, where it is getting a linear portion. In the loading part, there is a linear portion corresponding to virgin compression, or we call that portion as virgin compression curve. And again, there is an unloading and reloading. So again, in that reloading part, we will get another linear portion towards the end, and that is also can also be called as a virgin compression curve, where the specimen or the soil is experiencing a pressure which is new to that, which is a new pressure that soil experience in its lifetime. So that is where we can relate, or we can define a normally. That is how we can define a normally consolidated soil. So if you are taking a slope of such a linear portion, that will be meaningful only for normally consolidated soils. And Cc can be represented mathematically as delta E divided by log to the base 10 sigma bar divided by sigma bar 0, or sigma bar will be the initial sigma 0. Initial effective stress is sigma 0. So initial stress plus the change. So you can write sigma bar as sigma 0 bar plus delta sigma bar. So in that manner also you can represent it. And delta E is the change in void ratio, and the void ratio is decreasing as the time passes by, and effective stress is increasing. So again, to get it in a positive manner, positive value, you can use a negative sign. So just refer this graph. Here Cc is, if you are denoting the first void ratio and the first sigma, if you are denoting the first void ratio by E1 and the second void ratio after some time, let it be E2, and the corresponding effective stresses be sigma 1 bar and sigma 2 bar. So if you are taking a slope, you can represent it like this. And this is extremely useful for determination of settlement in the field. And there are various other expressions also related to relating the Cc with liquid limit, and also the void ratio, in situ void ratio, or the site water content. So these expressions can be considered if you are doing a problem, if the consolidation test data is absent, if you are not given with the particulars of the curve, you can use these equations in order to find compression index Cc. So remember this too. Next is expansion index or swelling index, represented by Ce. It is the slope of E log P curve, E log sigma bar curve, obtained during unloading. So this is the loading part, this is the unloading part. So the portion BC in this curve is corresponding to unloading, and if you are taking the slope of E log P curve there, you will get Ce value. It is a measure of volume increase in a soil consequent to release of stress. So during unloading, we are removing the pressure that we are giving. So it is experiencing a decrease in stress, and then what happens, the soil will expand by taking in water, and it will show an increase in the volume. So expansion index is a measure of volume increase in a soil when there is a release of stress. So mathematically the expression is given. Next is recompression index. It is the compression of a soil which had already been loaded and unloaded. So once it has experienced the loading and also it was unloaded. So in that case, the compression corresponding to that is recompression. So CR is the slope of recompression curve obtained during reloading. So initially there was a recompression. And after that, the real consolidation is being experienced by the soil. Again, if you are unloading it and reloading, so this part, portion CD, if you consider the curve, portion CD is the region which we are talking about. So CR is the slope of the recompression curve obtained during reloading. Okay. Another important topic, pre-consolidation pressure, represented by sigma var C. It is the maximum pressure to which an over-consolidated soil had been subjected to in the past. So if you are considering a natural soil deposit, the soil over there will be already subjected to an existing overburden or overlying, maybe the weight of an overlying material or so. So there will be an overburden over that for that soil, and if you are taking it, we are disturbing it and then taking the soil and then testing it. So testing in the sense, we are making it to consolidate, we are applying pressure and consolidation is getting started. So if you observe the ELOC-P curve, the load is being increased, the effective stress experienced by the soil is getting increased, and a point will be reaching where that point is corresponding to the initial pressure which it had experienced at the site. So if you consider the initial portion that is from the starting point to the A, that is not even a new pressure to that soil. So it is equal to a recompression. The soil will be experiencing a recompression. So in this region, in this loading region or in this loading range, that soil can be considered as a over consolidated soil. That means it had already experienced a pressure corresponding to this in its natural deposit condition. So if you are giving it again, that means it is simply getting over consolidated, or it is a recompression region. So the maximum pressure to which an over consolidated soil had been subjected to in the past is known as pre-consolidation pressure. So Casagrande has proposed a method to find the pre-consolidation pressure. In the transition range between recompression and virgin compression portion of curve, the slope is gradually changing and the pre-consolidation pressure falls in this range. So here comes the recompression region and here is the virgin compression portion. So in between these two, the slope is gradually changing and the pre-consolidation pressure, that is a maximum pressure which it had experienced in the past. So that pressure is somewhere lying in this region. So how to find out that pressure in exact or the exact value, how to find out. So that is a method, that is using a method proposed by Casagrande. So this figure is an enlarged view of this particular small region, gradual change in the slope. This region is enlarged and the view is given here. So don't get confused with the notations used. So this A is not the same as this one. So we can see how it is being found, how the pre-consolidation pressure, the exact value is found. So as per Casagrande's method, you have to follow these steps in order to find the pre-consolidation pressure. So let's see. So this is an enlarged view of this small gradual portion between the recompression curve and virgin compression curve. Now see, what's the first step? We have to determine the point E on the curve where the curvature is maximum. So let this E, this point, let this point be the maximum, the point where the curvature is maximum, and we have to draw a horizontal line at E. So this is the horizontal line drawn at E, and that line is EG. Now draw a tangent EF to the curve at E. So at this point E, you have to draw a tangent to the curve, and the tangent is EF. So it is marked here, the tangent. Then you have a horizontal line and a tangent. Now you have to bisect this angle, the midway between the angle. You have to draw another line, bisector, and that is EH. Now extend the straight line portion of the compression curve. So which is the straight line portion of the compression curve? It is the virgin compression portion. So you have to extend this portion CD, extend it backward in order to meet EH, the bisector. So extend this line backward to meet the bisector at the point P. So CD is extended backward to meet EH at the point P. Now from the point P, just draw a vertical, just drop a vertical PJ, and it cuts the log axis at the point J. So the point J indicates pre-consolidation pressure. So this is corresponding to pre-consolidation pressure sigma bar C. So the PJ cuts the curve. Again, the PJ, if you are checking the line PJ, it is cutting this curve. It is cutting this curve at the point K, and the curve ABK represents the recompression curve, to be exact, and the curve KCD represents the virgin compression curve. Clear? Coming to various causes of pre-consolidation in soil. So right now we have seen what is pre-consolidation pressure, how to find it. So all these were explained with respect to a specimen that we are consolidating. So in natural case or in natural conditions also, this pre-consolidation may happen in soil. So what are the probable causes of pre-consolidation in a natural deposit? So coming to the first point, due to overburden which had been later removed by erosion. So imagine a surface which is having some overburden, and suppose an erosion, soil erosion happened, and it was taken away by the erosion. So once there was an overburden, now it is not there, and if again if some load is coming, then that may give a pre-consolidation. Then next is due to loads of buildings and other structures which had been demolished. And the third probable causes, due to melting of glaciers which covered the soil deposit in the past. And it can also happen due to capillary pressure which acted on soil in the past, but later this capillary pressure, if it is destroyed due to rise in water, then the water level, if it is water table level, if it is going up in later stages, then there won't be any capillary pressure. So that may be a cause for pre-consolidation in soil. Then due to desiccation of clay deposit, and after desiccation the soil remains pre-consolidated. And next is due to reduction in the effective stress, if the sustained downward seepage forces are stopping. If there is no downward seepage forces once present, which were once present. And also it can happen due to tectonic forces, earthquake forces, which later became less severe. So these are the probable causes of pre-consolidation in soil. In our first lecture, we have discussed about the importance of knowing all the properties of soils when it is subjected to consolidation, or how this consolidation is so much of importance to a geotechnical engineer or a civil engineer. So the major effect of or the impact of this consolidation is going to be experienced by the buildings or the structures made over a soil which is having a tendency to consolidate, and that is the settlement. So we have studied the properties, we have studied the behavior of the consolidation process in order to find the settlement of a structure over a soil which is having a tendency to consolidate. So coming to the mathematical expressions that are very important in finding the consolidation settlement. And the normally consolidated soil, we have come across the various types or the conditions that differentiate soil as normally consolidated, over consolidated, and under consolidated. So over consolidated, it is already fully consolidated. Even if you are giving some consolidation force over that, may not be much affected. So the major thrust is on the normally consolidated soil, and under consolidated soil is always dangerous to be built on, to build structures on. And normally consolidated soil is what is the condition where it is experiencing a new pressure every time and the consolidation process is going on, and we can have a linear variation, we have a linear type of variation in the E-log P curve if you refer. So we have some reference also. What are the three important equations that are used to find the consolidation settlement in a for a normally consolidated soil? So we are focused mainly on clay because it is having a behavior, it is showing a behavior of, or it is showing a behavior of consolidation that is happening over a long time and not immediately after the construction. It is a time dependent process for clay soils. So if you discuss in terms of if you discuss about finding the consolidation settlement, we have to use all these equations. So first one is using how to find out the final settlement, and this equation is involving coefficient of volume change, MV. So SF is the final settlement. SF is equal to MV into delta sigma bar into H0, where H0 is the total thickness of the soil layer. So if you consider a particular soil layer which is having a total thickness of H0, then total settlement, the final settlement is given by the expression MV delta sigma bar into H0. And if you are given with the void ratio, then you can use this expression to find out the soil consolidation settlement. So in a practical case, all these equations can be applied with the data available. So SF is equal to H0 into delta E divided by 1 plus E0. If the E sigma bar plot for the soil is available, this equation can be used to find out the final settlement. The value of delta E corresponding to the given increment is read off from the plot and substituted in the equation, where E0 is the initial void ratio. And if you know the compression index, CC value. So remember, the compression index was regarding the slope of the slope in the portion of virgin compression that is applicable to normally consolidated soil, where the graph is almost linear, E-log P curve. So SF is equal to CC divided by 1 plus E0 into H0 into log to the base 10 sigma 0 plus delta sigma, that is the final effective stress, divided by the initial effective stress when the effective pressure or the effective stress is increased from an initial value to the final value. Okay. So remember all these three equations, it is very important. So with these equations, we can find out the consolidation settlement of a soil layer whose thickness is known, and it is applicable for normally consolidated soil, and mainly we concentrate on clay to know the behavior of clay under consolidation. With this, let's wind up the second lecture on consolidation. Thank you so much for watching.